WXXV News 25 forecast first. Powered by Mississippi Power.
Good Monday afternoon, everybody. We had a blanket of clouds overhead starting off the day. The cloud coverage is still overhead due to a minor disturbance, which is going to continue to move towards the northeast. We'll find clouds thinning late afternoon with cool below seasonal temperatures into this afternoon. This is the forecast first. WXXV News 25 starts right now.
Coming up on the noon show, we have the latest details this afternoon on the deputy-involved shooting that happened in Stone County Sunday. And we'll also have a traffic alert regarding tomorrow night's closure of I-10 eastbound at Minge Avenue. And in sports news, a few college teams are headed to the Shuckers Ballpark for action on the diamond this week. We'll tell you more about the Hancock-Whitney Classic.
Live right now. WXXV News 25.
Good afternoon, South Mississippi, and thank you for joining us here for WXXV News at noon on this Monday. We are going to begin our show with an update into that deadly deputy-involved shooting Sunday evening at a Dollar General in Stone County. Stone County Coroner Wayne Flory has identified the deceased individuals in this case. They are 44-year-old Kimberly Kennedy of Pass Christian and 52-year-old Perry Stevens of Bendale. According to the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, a Stone County Sheriff's deputy responded to a domestic violence call at that store located just off Highway 49 in Parkinston. Stevens allegedly fired a gun at the responding deputy, striking the deputy in the face. The deputy then returned fire. He suffered a laceration to his left cheek, but is expected to make a full recovery. DPS officials say Stevens is believed to have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound during the incident. Kennedy, believed to be connected in some way to Stevens, was also found dead at the scene. Now, as with all officer or deputy-involved shootings in Mississippi, MBI is taking the lead on this investigation. We're also learning more about a deadly shooting that happened in Jackson County over the weekend. The two Loosedale men involved in the shooting death of another man Saturday are set to appear in court this afternoon. 21-year-old Charles Mason IV and 22-year-old Jesse Holofield will appear in front of Jackson County Judge Mark Watts at 1:30 for their initial hearing. As we've reported, Mason allegedly shot a rifle several times towards the crowd at County Line Bar on Highway 613. Richard Davis died at that scene after being shot in the chest. Shortly after the shooting, Mason left the bar in a vehicle driven by Holofield. Both suspects later surrendered to authorities without incident. And also some sad news out of Ocean Springs. City leaders mourning the loss of a former city alderman who died earlier this month. Thomas Reynolds died March 1st at the age of 84. He served 2 terms as alderman and was a strong believer in the potential of Ocean Springs. Reynolds is survived by his wife Margaret, 2 sons, a stepson, and grandchildren. All right, we're turning back now to Chief Meteorologist Rob Knight, the GNR show again.
Yeah.
How you doing, my man?
It's Monday, dude.
I know.
It's been a struggle, man, but you know what they say. Nobody cares about your struggles. You just got to suck it up and move on.
Yeah, weather-wise, it's been decent.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Normal.
Yeah.
With the exception of the blanket of clouds overhead.
That's right.
But at least it's not spitting out any rain. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Grand temperatures have warmed. We now have the mid-50s to the mid-60s in the area. It looks like the coolest spot is Poplarville at 56 degrees. Meanwhile, 64 in Gulfport, the beachfront in the low to mid-60s, and warmer temperatures ahead into this afternoon. Now, there is a little weakness throughout the region. It is clearing to the east. The clouds are going to thin in the next couple of hours. We've been under mostly cloudy skies. Next couple of hours, mostly cloudy and then partly cloudy, say from mid-afternoon, 3 p.m. to about sunset, which, by the way, nowadays that's 7 o'clock. By 7, we'll find mostly clear skies. And here's a quick look at some numbers into this afternoon. I'll have the extended forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Rob. And we are less than 24 hours away from polls opening for primary elections here in Mississippi. Today, we're catching up with the Democratic candidate for United States Senate, Ty Pinkins, as he looks to become the first Democrat elected to the Senate from Mississippi since John C. Stennis in 1982. Here's what Pinkins had to say on the state of the race and his campaign so far.
You know what? I have served this country for 21 years in uniform on active duty. And after serving on active duty, I served in some of the most underserved communities in this state, helping single mothers facing eviction in the middle of winter, representing low-income workers who have been cheated out of their pay by big businesses. But what I see now is that on the federal level, a lot of our leaders have failed us. They have forgotten us, and they have forfeited the promise that they made to us and to this country. What we are missing is leaders that are willing to listen to voters and listen to each other, and that's what I want to take to Washington. The first thing they can expect to see from me, selfless service. Right now, we have a lot of leaders that are selfish and incapable of listening and hearing what's important to Mississippians. I want to change that. I want to be able to go to Washington and talk to legislators and work together, work across the aisle to make sure that we get problem solved that affect everyday Mississippians. Well, I just want to meet voters and let them hear and see who I am and what I stand for. Listen to their issues, understand what's going on for everyday Mississippians in their communities, and come up with common sense solutions that I can take to Washington and change their lives to affect everyday Mississippians about jobs and the economy, healthcare, education. For years, our state has been near the back of the line in all three categories. It's time to change that. Mississippians want change. They want a new face in Washington. They're tired of the same old tired politicians going to Washington, D.C. and doing nothing to improve their lives. And that's what's represented on the other side of this ticket with my opponents. And that's something that I want to do differently.
And as you prepare to make your voice heard tomorrow, let's dive into some of the races you'll see at the polls. Of course, the presidential race tops the ballot. The general election, though, is all but set. On the Republican side, Donald Trump is the party's presumptive nominee after Nikki Haley, his final challenger, dropped out of the race last week. On the Democratic side of things, incumbent President Joe Biden heads the ballot and is set to be his party's nominee in his quest for a second term. Moving on to Mississippi's federal races, incumbent Senator Roger Wicker is seeking another term in the upper chamber, but first he has to get through two Republican primary challengers in Gannon Burton and Dan Eubanks. We just heard from that Democratic candidate, Ty Pinkins. He stands alone on that ballot for Senate. Here in South Mississippi, first-term Congressman Mikey Zell is seeking a second term, representing the 4th District. Like Wicker, he also faces a primary challenge from two fellow Republicans, Carl Boyanton and Michael McGill. On the Democratic side for this race, though, only one Democrat will appear on the ballot. That's Craig Raybon. And just a quick reminder, we will have full Election Day coverage right here on WXXV News 25 tomorrow on all of our newscasts and digital platforms. You can head over to our website at WXXV25.com for more on what you need to know before heading to the polls. A heads up, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is planning a prescribed burn at the Mississippi Sandhill Crane National Wildlife Refuge today. The burn site consists of 202 acres located south of Seaman Road and north of I-10 in Ocean Springs. If you see smoke in that area, just keep in mind it is a prescribed burn. There is some sad news this afternoon. The Mississippi Gulf Coast Symphony just announced it's suspending Sounds by the Sea. The board voted unanimously to suspend the annual Memorial Day weekend concert due to significant cost increases. The symphony plans to reevaluate Sounds in the future, however. In other news, a quick traffic reminder for tomorrow. I-10 eastbound at Minge Avenue will close tomorrow night for construction work that continues in that area. The eastbound lanes will close at 8 tomorrow night and reopen at 6 a.m. Wednesday. The closure was originally set for last week, but was rescheduled due to wet weather conditions. Crews have been working lately in that area to place concrete beams and safety devices for the new overpass being built over there. Also tomorrow night, the State of the City address in Gaucher. Remarks from Mayor Casey Vaughn begin at 6 p.m. in the Gaucher City Council chambers at City Hall. Mayor Vaughn is set to give a comprehensive overview of the city's achievements, progress, and upcoming projects. College baseball teams hit the diamond this week at the Shuckers Ballpark for the Hancock-Whitney Classic. The Mississippi State Bulldogs will be back in Biloxi tomorrow and Wednesday. The Bulldogs face South Alabama at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and then will face the University of New Orleans Privateers on Wednesday. First pitch Wednesday is at 5 p.m. Happening tomorrow, MGCCC is hosting a family fiesta night. The fiesta will be happening from 5 to 8 p.m. on the Jackson County campus and is hosted by the Hispanic American Club. The event is free for all. Dance lessons will start at 5, and then at 6 o'clock there will be an outdoor movie. There's also children's games and activities on tap, as well as food trucks on site. Also tomorrow, the Gulfport School District will host a gifted arts show. That show runs from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Gulfport Arts Center tomorrow night. Artwork will be displayed and will stay up until March 17th. The gallery hours, if you can't make it tomorrow, are Wednesdays through Sundays. It will be open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on those days. Before we head to break, a quick check at our WXXV Votes question of the day. The question is, if you have teens, do they have career goals right now at their age? It's a 60-40 split right now, 60% of voters saying yes. Just go to WXXV25.com and click on the WXXV Vote link in the news drop-down menu to vote, or use the QR code on your screen. Still to come here on WXXV News 25, we head to the state capitol to learn about a bill that would allow liquor sales on Sundays here in Mississippi.
A blanket of clouds throughout the region with cool temperatures. In a few minutes, I'll be back with the extended forecast through the St. Patrick's Day weekend.
And now, your weather authority.
Good afternoon, everybody. Monday afternoon, and we've got blanket of clouds overhead. It started out overnight. Recall yesterday, man, plenty of sunshine, and we hit 70 degrees yesterday afternoon after a cool Saturday. The view still showing a blanket of clouds overhead. We've got a little minor disturbance, which is right over the state of Mississippi, moving towards the east. Once the front gets, the weakness that is, once it gets a little further to the east and the northeast, the cloud coverage will thin by mid-afternoon, and the camera itself, courtesy of our friends at Hancock Whitney. In Gulfport, 64 degrees, light and variable winds, but dominantly the winds are going to be coming in out of the south this afternoon. 60 in Saussure, Picayune, Bay St. Louis, 61. 58 in Poplarville and Loosedale, 57 in Wiggins. Wiggins is the coolest spot right now. Gulfport and Ocean Springs, the warmest locations, again at 64 degrees. Now, folks, look at the relative humidity. This is very, very low. We've got the 30 and 40 percentile in the area. And even if we had rain producers overhead, as the rain falls through this drier layer, it would be absorbed. Not saying that we've got rain producers overhead. I'm just letting you know the cloud deck, it's about 18 to 22,000 feet off the surface. Mostly cloudy this afternoon till about 3 o'clock, and then the clouds will thin. We'll be under partly cloudy through sunset, and then mostly clear skies expected overnight. High temperature will max out at 67 degrees, a couple of degrees below seasonal norms. Mid-40s overnight, light and variable winds, and some very, very light fog. Fog is going to become more dominant Wednesday, more so Thursday into the weekend, those mornings. So just a heads up on that. Winds are pretty much out of the east, but along the beachfront we do have more of a southerly component, and no rain producers with Mississippi Power Doppler. High pressure to the northeast, and take a look. The cloud coverage to the west and the southwest, it's already thinning. That light rain over southeastern Louisiana, not making it anywhere close to the surface. It's all evaporating before getting close to the ground. Clearing skies overnight, sunshine tomorrow with high pressure still in control of the weather. Wednesday, a transitional day, and then Thursday, we're going to see more in the way of cloud coverage. Rain on Thursday will start moving in. Thursday will bring around a 40% chance for isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon. That is going to continue Friday into the weekend. A front will stall overhead. That's going to bring greater rain chances. So quiet start to the work week. We'll find warming temperatures ahead. Showers and thunderstorms Thursday through the St. Patty's Day weekend. Today is the only day we're going to find the 60s in play, around 67 degrees on average. Back to 70 tomorrow morning, and after a cool start in the mid-40s. Look at the start Wednesday morning, mid-50s, and then Thursday and Friday morning, low to mid-60s. Thursday morning is when I believe fog will become a dominant factor. Thursday and Friday, a 40% chance for isolated thunderstorms. That's going to increase to a 60% Saturday as well as Sunday.
Up in Rolling Fork, FEMA has approved almost $3 million to reimburse the city for replacement of signs and the repair of roads following the March 24th and 25th tornadoes there last year. Rolling Fork will use its own personnel and contractors to replace 662 signs and repair some of those local roads to pre-disaster conditions. The Mississippi State Senate will soon vote on House Bill 329, which would allow liquor stores to be open on Sundays from 1 to 6 p.m. WXXV's Brooke Parker has more on what this bill entails and how local liquor store owners are reacting.
Currently, liquor stores can only sell from 10 to 10 Monday through Saturday. Anyone looking for liquor on a Sunday would find a closed sign at each and every store, forcing them to find it elsewhere. This is why Representative Jeffrey Hullum III backed the bill.
We should not have to ask for things that's already here. And we take our money outside of our communities, outside of our city, it hinders us from getting the things that we need. we're growing our own local economy and not trying to stand up someone else's economy by growing something which is a vice that people are going to get anyway. Whether they go to a casino, whether they go to a bar or a restaurant, they're going to get the alcohol anyway.
Not only will this keep Mississippians' dollars in the state, but it will also bring tourists to our local liquor stores. As one of 4 states that limits liquor sales, visitors find it odd that they can't have a drink on the weekend.
We have a lot of tourists that come in here, and they cannot believe that we cannot be open on Sundays. So with this, it will increase. Plus, with the festivals and the events that happen in downtown Gulfport, it would be a great asset to the area of us being open on Sundays.
Counties and municipalities can opt out if voters petition. Once a committee is formed, they will have until April 2nd to advance this bill. In Gulfport, Brooke Parker, WXXV News 25.
Welcome back. The 2024 homecoming celebration for graduates of Home of Grace was held over the weekend. This event highlights how Home of Grace has changed the lives of so many in our region and provides an opportunity to thank the businesses and people in the community who support Home of Grace's cause. Home of Grace Development Director Lee Anderson was in attendance to see the graduates sing "How Great Is Our God."
I was actually a client at the Home of Grace 20 years ago, and we had homecoming while I was a client. It was so neat to see people who have come from the program and what they're doing now, and to see what my life has the potential to look like as well. It has lasting impacts, as it did on me, to our current clients and the role that they can play in their lives for the kingdom of Christ.
Great things happening over there at Home of Grace. Rob will have another look at the forecast next, but first we are going to take a look outside at your lunch hour traffic conditions this afternoon. This is a view of I-10 at mile marker 49. You can see steady flow of traffic east and westbound, no delays or issues to report this afternoon.
And now, your Weather Authority. Sponsored by Red Pest Solutions, celebrating 70 years.
Good afternoon, everybody. We still have the blanket of clouds overhead, but just to the west and the southwest, thinner clouds moving towards the northeast, and these are non-rain producing clouds sitting at about 18 to 22,000 feet off the surface. Temperatures from the upper 40s to the low 50s. It was a chilly start. They have warmed. A couple of 50s still in the area. Poplarville and Lucedale barely in the 50s at 59 degrees. Otherwise, low to mid 60s. Gulfport and Ocean Springs at 64. We're going to average 67 this afternoon with some elevated winds in the outer coastals, northeast at 10 to 15 knots, 2 to 3 foot seas. Anticipate a moderate chop in protected waters. Tomorrow, lighter winds, lesser seas. We'll be down to a light chop with northeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Nice view with the exception of the blanket of clouds overhead. Again, clouds are going to thin by 3 p.m., partly cloudy by 5 p.m., mostly clear. Mostly clear will continue overnight. Tyra Cam courtesy of our friends at the Scarlet Pearl. Here's a quick look at my Mississippi Power extended forecast. Back into the 70s tomorrow through St. Patty's Day weekend.
In case you missed it, many families came out and had fun at the inaugural WXXV Spring Family Expo Saturday. Vendors set up shop at Edgewater Mall. Attendees were able to learn more about beneficial family resources here on the coast. With Easter coming up, kids were also able to enjoy some fun with the Easter Bunny and take photos.
We really pride ourselves on our involvement with the community here on the Gulf Coast, and so this year we're trying to do more things to help serve the communities.
Well, about the autism program and the health program, just different things. It's pretty neat.
We just like to do community outreach and get our faces out there and get familiar. It's important for everyone to have be confident with themselves and enjoy smiling.
Fun that I'm having is walking around and seeing new things.
And of course, we here at WXXV would like to thank our title sponsor, Sky Zone Trampoline Park, and our many other contributors. I know personally I had a lot of fun and met some great viewers out there. And a reminder, the Biloxi Shuckers Junior Broadcaster Program applications are still open for the 2024 season. The program is open for any aspiring broadcasters between the ages of 12 and 16. Those interested would be able to call the fourth inning during select Sunday home games on the Biloxi Shuckers radio network and MILB.TV. Those interested would join Voice of the Shuckers, Javik Blake, during the top of each inning and lead the play-by-play in the bottom of the select innings. Applicants can send a short essay, audition tapes, and contact information to jblake@biloxishuckers.com. Participants will receive a media credential and a Shuckers prize pack as well. Well, before we go to break, a reminder for the latest news and weather, just go to our website, WXXV25.com. And if you see news happening where you live, send us a news tip at news@WXXV25.com. All right, Rob, we're staying local for the ending of our newscast today. I like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the Pascagoula Fire Department is excited to announce the creation of the Fire Cubs program.
Bear?
Not a
Bear
bear.
Cubs?
We're talking about little kids,
Oh,
although it's a
okay.
cute logo, though. And now the Fire Cubs is a summer program to teach kids ages 8 to 12 fire safety and even gives career exploration opportunities. There are 2 separate sets of dates, all running from 8:30 in the morning until 12:30 on those dates. The first dates are June 10th through the 13th, while the second runs from June 17th through the 20th. Food and drink will be provided for the kids and other things. And really, you know, it's great, Rob. The kids get to learn fire prevention, first aid, CPR, all important skills.
Lots of good stuff the kids nowadays, I mean,
Yeah.
always need to learn. We learned that in school, military and things like that. I'm glad that the young people out there are learning stuff like that. You never know when you need it.
Good stuff happening locally, and kudos to the Pascagoula Fire Department. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great rest of your Monday.